Welcome back to another episode of Brotherhood Blitz. I'm your host, Steve the Wop, accompanied by my co-host, aka my brother, aka 409K. Colton, what'd you think about week one of the VGL?
Wild to say the least. I think a lot of great games that we had, especially just getting VGL action underway after a decent break in between season six and the start of season seven. Wild to say that it's been 7 seasons since the the start of this league. It was nice. We had a ton of great plays, great games to watch, and great players to keep track of as we go through their careers.
Yeah, of course, it was a fantastic week one opening week. We had some great matchups and a few upsets actually, and we'll talk about those here shortly. But yeah, a great week one, and some teams came out swinging.
It definitely definitely came out swinging. We'll get to those here just shortly.
Yeah, we had week one opening week, um, or opening game of week one, LSU versus Virginia Tech. What do you think about that game?
That game was different than what I thought it would go. Virginia Tech looked very strong, especially in the running game. Um, last season, they were known a lot known more for their passing attack, was able to just dot most people up. But Popico, 3 touchdowns in the first half. I mean, and had over 100 yards, second in the league in rushing yards already through 1 week is something to be proud of.
Absolutely, and I actually had Virginia Tech to win that game, and that's the start of where our differences were, and I believe you had LSU winning that game. Um,
Yeah, I'm already off to a rough start for the Brotherhood Blitz pick'ems. I had LSU winning, and they indeed did not.
yep, how unfortunate for you.
Yeah, especially if we're doing a punishment. I'm already in a great spot.
Well, definitely not when your opponent goes 7-1 and you go 5-3.
Yep, but it's okay. Plenty. There's 9 weeks to a season. I'll get some over you eventually.
We'll see about that. On to week, or sorry, game two, Miami versus Texas. Tell me a little bit of what you thought about that game.
Well, us being out of Texas, I won't go too into detail of it. More talk about the positives and of Miami. Miami didn't play up to their standards and up to the level of success that they had last season. Last season, obviously, they had the first undefeated regular season ever in the VGL. Only putting up 30 points. Uh, Just thinking, I think they'd be a lot closer of a game. Not gonna lie, they did have 21 fourth quarter points. Try to start some type of a comeback. Just wasn't able to quite pull that one off.
Yeah, and Miami, you definitely don't want to count them out. Although Texas did showcase kind of their offense and kind of what they're made of. Don't overlook Miami. They are definitely a team um, that can win out the rest of the season.
Easily, I think Miami's schedule kind of plays to their strengths. A lot of teams they can definitely smoke and beat out, and I'm sure Miami will figure it out at some point.
Definitely. And on to game three, I believe was Mizzou versus Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was.
Def- Yes, Mizzou and Maryland was the first game of the Wednesday slate.
Yeah, I had Maryland coming in, beating Mizzou, and had ended up being just that. And I believe you had Mizzou trying to pull off that upset.
Yep, that's where I am now 1-2 in pick'ems. I thought Mizzou actually had a really good recruiting class. Just a new team. The coach new for this season, has been a coach in this league before, and especially in other sim leagues. He's been around the block for quite some time. I think Maryland last season also didn't play up to their par after in season five it did make the semifinals last season. A little bit of an off season. They come out showing scoring the most points of any team in the league of 54. Mizzou did put up 35, so I don't know if that's a short tail sign that they just need to iron out the kinks and get some players up to where they need to be as the season goes on. But I think Mizzou at some point will figure it out and will be right up there with the kind of that on the edge of playoff spot.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, Mizzou, although they didn't pull this one off, they are going to stay in the losing column, but don't count them out. They will be getting some wins this season for sure. On to
Agreed.
Yeah, on to game two, um, Hawaii versus UNC. What a game that was, huh?
Yeah, that was my pick for game of the week, and boy oh boy did it not disappoint. Uh, that game came down to the very wire. Hawaii ended up going up towards the end of the game, and then less than I believe it was a minute left. Uh, Ryan Winley, freshman, six-star QB, fires a dot to Brady White over the middle for a touchdown, and that touchdown ended up giving them the win to win by 3. And what was a battle of defenses, to say the least.
Yeah, man, that's you think of a football game, you think of a game like that. There's nothing more you'd love to see than uh, winning in a fashion like that. A deep bomb with seconds left on the clock, um, and just winning it for your team, laying it all out on the field like that.
And Hawaii had the ball with some time left, as no timeouts and some questionable decisions in terms of clock management and play calling. They had a chance to go down the field and go score, just wasn't able to quite pull it out. And we also had the first kickoff return touchdown in that game as well, which we'll get to later. But both those teams, Hawaii had a huge transfer portal class and a few key pieces in terms of freshman recruiting, and then UNC bringing in a few six stars and safety, a DT, and also getting the transfer halfback from Rutgers, Dominic McKenzie. I mean, UNC is a team I think that can get back to dominance like they were in season 3.
They are definitely a team that you don't want to face. They are going to make a statement this season, and a lot of teams will definitely see them in playoffs.
And going into game 3 of the Wednesday slate, we have Arkansas taking on Rutgers, which Arkansas gets a commanding 45 to 24 point win over Rutgers, in which a game I think a lot of people kind of expected Arkansas to win.
Yeah, look, when you got a number 17 going up a number 15 team, you kind of expect these sort of numbers, and it would have been nice to see Rutgers, come out and get maybe within a 3 point um, score to maybe pull off that win. But look, 24 points against Arkansas is not bad, and they will be looking to get some wins in these upcoming weeks.
And going on to game, the first game of the Thursday slate, the last day of week 1, we had East Carolina taking on Georgia, which was a pretty good game as well. Georgia gets the 42 to 34 upset over East Carolina, in which hats off to Georgia. They're figuring something out, and I like my hot take last week for the season. Georgia's going to be a top 8 team in this league this season.
Yeah, and so far you're right. Georgia came out, they looked great, and against ECU, ECU is not, you know, not just any team. they got some great players on their roster, and for Georgia to come out and score 42 points on them, that should say something.
Especially when you have Ontario Zachary, sophomore quarterback, throwing 5 touchdowns, no picks. It's not very many football games you're going to lose when you don't turn over the ball.
Going to second game of last day of week one, you got Michigan taking on FAU. Man, what a blowout that was.
Yeah, that game I watched bits and pieces of, and that game never looked like it was close. Michigan didn't score a single touchdown that game in which FAU took control from the opening whistle.
Yeah, I knew Florida Atlantic was gonna come out and take this W, but you know, not like that. Hats
And
off.
neither did I. I think we both had FAU winning, and going back to the Georgia East Carolina game, I had Georgia winning. I believe you did as well.
I did, yes. And hats off to Florida Atlantic for that's that's one hell of a win right there,
Yeah, they won by quite a bit. They had a 39-point win.
which is the most out of week one.
Yes. Not the most points, but the highest point differential in which their
Yes.
defense looked pretty solid, and especially the running game.
On to the last game of week one of season 7 of VGL. Louisville versus Alabama.
And that was your pick for game of the week, or a game to watch out for, where Louisville comes in and wins slightly 34-31 over Bama, which Bama had every opportunity to win that game.
Yeah, look, just like Hawaii versus UNC, that game came down to the wire. Absolute last seconds. And for a second, it looked like that game might be going to overtime. And Louisville, with seconds left, went down the field and got that last second uh, touchdown to go up 34-31. And only left, I believe it was like 2 seconds or something left on the clock. And then Alabama, just couldn't return that kick.
Nope. And that, like you mentioned, that game was your pick for game of the week. We're also going to mention our official pick for game of the week, week one. And would you like to do the honors?
Yeah, our official game of the week for week one, Brotherhood Blitz, is going for Hawaii versus North Carolina. That game, like we mentioned before, down to the wire. Um, Absolute great game to watch. If you haven't seen it, you need to go back and watch it. Um, should still be able to. This comes
I think
out,
it'll be up there for like at least a week.
yeah. So if it's still up, go watch it. That's one game you definitely want to go see. It's a fun one.
And then we're gonna go into our highly anticipated hit stick play of the week.
Yeah. So last week, obviously, we didn't have any games, so we didn't have hit stick play of the week. However, this week we had some clips come in and we reviewed them, and our hit stick play of the week is going to be in that Hawaii versus North Carolina game. Um, Here, I'll just let the video do the talking and roll the clip.
Three receivers to the left, one down to the bottom of your screen. Winley with all kinds of time throws back to the left. He's got his man sitting out there. That's Blunt. And you'll see Blunt right here waiting. Throws. And here comes the shot. Watch him coming in here. Bam!
Man, what a hit that was! And big shout out to Stamps for sending that clip in. Um, and just to everyone listening in, if you are watching a game and you see a big hit stick like that, and you want to be you want that clip to be featured in the podcast, just clip it, exclamation point or exclamation mark clip, and then it will go ahead and clip it for you, and then just DM me with the clip or 409k, and we'll review them and decide our pick for the podcast.
Yeah, that was a great clip. I appreciate those that did send in clips. We'll put out a little bit bigger of a thing so more people know to send in clips because not everyone listens in, not everyone, this being a new thing. We're still learning, still improving on the way we can do things and make this more entertaining and interesting to listen to. But we appreciate any and all suggestions, clips that get sent in. Potentially, we have more stuff down the line that we can do. But for now, any clips that you have for hit sticks, you send it to D_LWAP or you send it to 409k on Discord, and we'll review them and potentially be featured in next week's episode.
Yeah, and with that being said, we'll move into our players of the week for week one. Um, this is both of our picks kind of sorted together. So first, we got offensive player of the week. It's going to be Maryland's QB, Monty Parsons the second. He had a whopping 24 completions for 30 attempts, 80% completion rating for 368 yards, two passing touchdowns, 16 rushing attempts for 57 yards, and two rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, that was quite a game he had, and obviously it being a 54-35 point win over Mizzou, having those types of stats definitely is going to help.
Yeah, especially when you're in that 80% range completion rating, your team's doing pretty good. Moving on to defensive player of the week for week one, we have an Arkansas defensive tackle, Dwayne Swanson. 8 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery.
And those 5 sacks ties the single game record for most sacks in a single game, which the record is tied with Paul West of Michigan. And that record, he tied the original record back in season 2, week 4, and also with Robert Crone of Kansas State. And that record was set in season 1 of week 11, and that was in the playoffs.
Yeah, look, when those records are set that far back, it's set that far back for a reason. 5 sacks is absolutely unbelievable. When your defensive tackle is getting 5 sacks in one game, man, he deserves everything. That's insane.
Well, especially when any player is getting 5 singular sacks by himself in a game on a QB, your offensive line ain't doing their job. Let's be quite frank.
Or your defensive tackle is just doing his job very well.
And that'll also be the case. I mean, Dwayne Swanson's a hell of a player, so and no discredit to him. He deserves the player of the week.
Going on to special teams player of the week, we have North Carolina's halfback Dominic McKenzie. 6 returns for 162 yards, a return touchdown, and an average of 27 yards per return.
Yeah, that one was not as close. I mean, anytime a player returns any kick return, punt return for a touchdown, I mean, they're the player of the week, and it's not even close.
Yeah, especially with stamina and blocking changes in season 7 for this league. Yeah, that's tough to do.
I mean, hats off to him. I mean, it's not easy.
Especially when you have 90 speed and there's you got players on the opposite side of the ball, 98, 97, 99 speed. Um, it's definitely not an easy task to take that one to the house.
At all.
All right. After that, we move on to our unofficial ranks after week 1 of the VGL. I think,
I would. Would you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
yeah, I think you went first last episode, so I'll go first this episode. All right. This is going to be very unbiased as I can be. Number
All right.
1.
Well, let's start from the bottom down. So from 16 to 1 this time.
Oh,
Be a little
okay.
bit more anticipation.
All right. So number 16, I got no surprise here. Still got Mizzou at number 16. Number 15, I got Rutgers. Coming in at 14, I got Alabama. 13, I got Michigan. 12, I got Maryland. 11, I got ECU. 10, I got Louisville. 9, Hawaii. 8, Georgia. Looky there, already a top 18.
Yep, like I called.
7, Arkansas. 6, Miami. 5, LSU. 4, Florida Atlantic. 3, UNC. 2, Virginia Tech. And coming at number 1, Texas.
Okay. Some subtle differences than what I had. We'll start with mine. We'll start with 16 to 1 like you did. 16, I have Mizzou. 15, I have Rutgers. 14, I have Alabama. So far so good. Same on both. 13, I have Michigan. 12, I had ECU, so there's our first difference.
Okay.
Maryland, I had at 11. Hawaii at 10. Louisville at 9. Georgia at 8. Arkansas at 7. Miami at 6. LSU at 5. FAU at 4. UNC at 3. Virginia Tech at 2. And then Texas coming in at number 1.
So pretty similar, but there is some differences in there.
Now that back end of the fringe playoff teams it was so tough to do this. I spent like 20 minutes figuring it out.
Yeah, man, that middle of the lineup is just it's tough. There's some of those in there that they could go either way.
And I mean, it's early. This is going into week 2. Rankings will kind of even out where teams should be, unless they obviously under or overperform, which can happen. But I think a lot of these teams right now, this is kind of where the cookie crumbles and where the cards fall.
Yeah. And with that being said, we'll go on to next week's games. Coming in, first game on Tuesday, we got Florida Atlantic versus Hawaii. What do you think about that game and kind of that matchup?
Well, after FAU just won by 39 against Michigan, you'd like to say that FAU has this game in the bag, but I mean, Hawaii just went toe to toe with North Carolina and lost by 3. And Hawaii, I think, is a little bit better than what Michigan is on both sides of the ball. That I think FAU's not going to have that easy of a game, but I'm going to think FAU pulls this one out.
Yeah, I agree. It's not going to be as easy of a game as last week was for them, but I do think they end up pulling it off. Um, but I do think that's going to be a very very close game. Probably not as close as Hawaii versus UNC, but it'll come down to the fourth quarter for sure.
And then we have the second game for Tuesday, Maryland taking on Michigan. And kind of give me your thoughts on that game.
Yeah, this is a game that people are gonna um, or think it's gonna be very one sided, and I agree. I'm picking Maryland over this one, and I think they outscore Michigan by quite a lot.
Yeah, I also have Maryland winning, but I'm not going to fully count out Michigan because Loki does tend to pull wins out of thin air when the cards are counted against him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that game plays out. Um, it'll be a fun one to watch. Going on to first game of the Wednesday slate, Georgia versus LSU. This is going to be a fun one. Y'all do not want to miss.
I think that's going to be a game that could potentially go either way. Georgia obviously somewhat, I wouldn't say struggled against ECU, but it was a lot closer than I personally was expecting it was going to be. No offense to ECU and some of the players that are probably going to hate me when they listen to this. Uh, but LSU, I went toe to toe with, a juggernaut in Virginia Tech. Georgia, I know for certain they're an up and comer. They're going to be up there with the best of them this season. But I think the talent LSU has currently is should be a little bit too much. I'm going to say LSU wins by less than 10.
Interesting. I believe Georgia pulls this out. I think they're going to come in with a chip on their shoulder, um, facing LSU, who just came off of a national championship title, and I think they're going to make just enough plays to upset the LSU Tigers.
Okay, our first difference and my first chance to hopefully come back and pick them.
I believe in you, Captain Rush.
No, I believe it. Believe in you as well as, no offense.
All
And
right.
then going into the second game of the Wednesday slate, we got North Carolina taking on Arkansas.
Yeah, another fun one to watch. You got who, it's going to change soon, but as of now, you got number 5 North Carolina taking on number 7 Arkansas. Um, it you would might think that this would be a close game, but I think it's going to go one way pretty quickly, and I think uh, that way is going to go towards UNC topping over Arkansas.
There is our second difference. I have Arkansas winning this game. I think it's going to be a close game than you think it might be, but my pick will be Arkansas.
Interesting.
So there's two games I can come back from.
Yep, could be tied. We'll see. On to the third game of the Wednesday slate. You got the Mizzou Tigers versus Rutgers.
That's a hard game to predict what might happen. Mizzou has struggled against Maryland. They did score over 30, and then Rutgers obviously faced a pretty good team in Arkansas, and that one wasn't really as close. Mizzou passing wise look very great. Rutgers a little bit of a more balanced type of offense. I'm going to go with Rutgers pulling that one out.
I'm gonna go the opposite. I think Mizzou gets their first win in this game, and it's not gonna be easy for them. But I think they their offense just kind of topples over the Rutgers defense, and yeah, it's gonna be, I think, very high scoring. But I think Mizzou pulls it off.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think defense is going to be a thing in that game. I won't be surprised if it's like 40 something to 40 something at the end after everything's said and done.
Yeah, bet on the over for sure.
Going into the first game of the Thursday slate, we have Alabama going into Texas. I know we're both coaches and on Texas, so we won't go too in depth to get rid of the biasy, but kind of give me your thoughts of this game.
Yeah, look, this game you're gonna have moderate wind. It's definitely gonna take into consideration in both of these offenses. You got Alabama, who has a decent offense. You can't count them out. They got a air raid offense, but I think that moderate wind is gonna be a factor for them. They might have to start running the ball a little bit. And Texas, they can, what we saw versus Miami. They can run, they can pass. So you really don't know what they're going to do, but I think Texas pulls this one out.
Yeah, you would be dumb to make me to think I'd choose anything but Texas. Sorry, Bama. Uh, but no, I also have Texas winning that game.
On to the second game of week 2 on Thursday. You got Virginia Tech versus East Carolina.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that short and sweet. Virginia Tech winning by 20.
Yeah, I'm gonna also keep it short and
Sorry,
sweet.
sorry.
Virginia Tech's winning by 30.
Yeah, sorry, ECU and some of my bros that are on that team. Virginia Tech's just on a different level than ECU is currently.
Please prove us wrong, though.
I would love to be proved wrong and get flamed in chat for the choice words I had, but Virginia Tech just beat the defending national champions, pretty handedly.
Yeah, they made it look
Uh,
easy.
I would like to think that they're not going to have too much trouble. Then again, that also could be potentially a game to watch out for this week as well. You never know.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And going into the last game of week 2 on Thursday, we have Miami taking on Louisville. Kind of give me your quick thoughts on that, how that game might go.
Yeah, look, these thoughts are pretty quick. Miami's whooping Louisville.
Yeah, I have Miami winning. I'm not going to say by how much, but they didn't look all that great in week 1. I think they have a bounce back game in week 2 and win pretty comfortably.
All right, and what do you got for your potential game of the week?
I think potential game of the week is going to be Rutgers and Mizzou.
Okay. My potential game of the week is going to be the first game of week 2, Florida Atlantic versus Hawaii.
That's a pretty good pick. I will say North Carolina, Arkansas potentially could be up there too. If with how high scoring I think that Rutgers Mizzou game is going to be with absolutely no defense played, it's hard not to pick that game.
Yeah, any of those three really are pretty good picks. And with that being said, I will say Virginia Tech versus East Carolina. I'm going to pick for my sleeper game of the week. A game you do not want to sleep on. It's going to be a pretty good one. Could potentially be a pretty good one.
I think my sleeper game is going to be Georgia LSU.
Ooh, that's also a good one.
Yeah, I think with that, I know both those teams, ranking wise, are going to be somewhat close to each other, but I know I picked LSU to win that game. I would not be shocked if Georgia makes it close or potentially pulls a win out of thin air.
Yeah, I would not be surprised at all. With all that being said, um, what's your upcoming week 2 hot take?
Ooh, that is a tough one. There's a few different ways you could go. I think my hot take is going to be, drum roll please. I think Arkansas is going to obviously pull out the upset, but not only pull out the upset, I think their QB throws for 500 yards.
I think you are an absolute goober for that. My
Not out of
hot
the realm of
take.
possibility.
mm, that's about as hot of a take as my week or my season 7 hot take.
That hot take's wild, by the way.
I don't want to talk about it. My,
Well, why don't you refresh us on what your season hot take was, actually?
do we have to? All right.
Why, yes.
My season 7 hot take was Alabama making the playoffs. Now look, they almost got one win, but obviously they didn't pull it off. Um, and they ain't winning week 2, but
Your hot take ain't looking so hot right now. And this is no shame at Bama as friendly banner. Just we'll put that out there.
yeah, ain't no
But
shame. I really thought y'all were gonna pull that week 1 game out.
I mean, I thought so too. I picked Bama to win.
I thought they had it. I thought they were gonna go to
I will
overtime
say,
and win it.
my hot take so far looking pretty promising for at least season 7.
My week 2 hot take: um, Georgia upsetting LSU by 2 scores.
Interesting. 2 scores.
2 scores.
We really think LSU just fell off that hard?
We'll see.
I mean, LSU lost, what was it? 2 scores to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, they did.
Quite interested for next week's episode when we talk about how right or wrong you were.
I'll probably be eating my words again, but we'll see.
And that's just the fun of it. This is why we decided to make a podcast, is just to have these types of conversations and these debates. It's also fun.
Yeah, of course, and I love to see where this is going. And the more we do these, the more we add, and the more people we have contributing, it makes it fun.
And we're at some point we definitely will be taking in guests. I know we've had a few people ask about it. Not sure when we'll have guests just yet. Timing is kind of the big issue we're having, even because I've heard right now we're doing it is 1:17 a.m. on November 1st, a little bit later than we were planning to do this, but someone had some issues come up. Won't say what, but someone had some issues come up.
It's also deer season, so I had to rush this in and couldn't do it. Couldn't push it to tomorrow.
Yeah, and which I mean, I don't blame you. Deer season's fun, even though I haven't hunted in like 8 years.
I ain't been that long. Last time I took you hunting when you were stuck in the tree.
Uh, Um, I I don't know how long ago that was. That might have been,
That was
but it's been probably been 8 years since I've shot at anything.
okay. I'll give you that.
Instead of, dangling in the middle of the woods from a tree stand with n no bottom support.
It's no exaggeration either.
Yeah, I wish I was exaggerating or I wish I was kidding. No, I was dangling from a tree stand with no bottom support because I was sitting at the bottom of the tree after so I was like 30 foot up in the air.
Yeah, I had to climb down and come save you.
A little bit of a story time and off topic, but we appreciate everyone that is tuned in. We did have 58 views in 5 days since the debut of the podcast and release of episode one last Sunday. I also have 10 subscribers as well, so we appreciate everyone. If you can, share, subscribe, take a listen into the stupid stupid stuff that we say here on the Brotherhood Blitz.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate everybody watching, and um, we did not expect that many views. It just makes it
I think
even more
we
fun.
predicted I think we predicted 20, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we were shooting for 20, and I think when I first put it
Yeah.
out, and the first time I looked, it was already at like 18 after like 20 minutes of it out, and I was like, damn.
And to get almost 60 in 5 days is we appreciate that. Hoping we go up and up and up as time goes on and the league gets bigger and bigger, and potentially even just random people scrolling by looking for podcasts to listen to over here on YouTube. Uh, and it gets more eyes on the league, which is what our goal is for even doing this. And if you have any suggestions as well for stuff you want us to talk about, or might potentially could do a viewer topic that we could do weekly, like a viewer gives us a topic to debate about or go over. I think could be a potential thing that we can do in next week's episode.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Always open to suggestions if anybody's got them.
And suggestions on what we can improve, things you're wanting to see, all that type of jazz. But this episode, I think we're getting around the time that we were aiming for, but we appreciate yet again everyone that tunes in and listens. And this is the Brotherhood Blitz.